Hey, Bourbon family. It's Whiskey Phoenix here. Happy Saturday. I am pre-recording this because I will be busy moving on Saturday, and quite frankly, I'm not sure how much I'm going to feel up for doing a video. Not saying I won't feel up to having some bourbon after moving, but not sure how much I'll feel up to doing a video, so I'm pre-recording this ahead of time. And what I want to do for you is something that I found back in March when I was at Uncorked over in Covington, and that is Heaven's Door. Now, you know me, and I love my research. So, surprisingly, to date, I had not even looked up anything about Heaven's Door. This was suggested to me by one of the employees there. And when I did a little bit of research, I had no idea that Bob Dylan his art is featured on Heaven Hill's bottles. The iron that you can see, like the iron wheels. I saw in my research some other bottles that they've done that has his artwork on it. So he just, I guess, did a lot of art when he was on the road. And Heaven's Door has figured out a way to get that displayed. Specifically, what it says is that Heaven's Door was born from Bob Dylan's passion for American whiskey, its rich heritage, enduring lore, and deep roots in the American heartland. It reflects his belief in the power of art and storytelling. By blending the evocative essence of Dylan's visual art with the craft of fine whiskey, making Heaven's Door invites enthusiasts into a world shaped by his deepest influences and most personal expressions. Now, yes, I did have to look off to the side to read that because there's no way I'm remembering all that. But I thought that was pretty cool. I had no idea where the artwork came from. So, again, this is Heaven's Door. This is a cask strength straight bourbon whiskey. This is a Gallenstein selection number 5. Now, I had to ask because the guy at Uncorked told me, this was really good. And Gallenstein is a family, I guess, that owns liquor stores in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. And they get invited to do barrel picks. So this was one of their selections, and this was selection number 5. It's pretty cool. It's got the barrel number on it. It's 123.1 proof. The mash bill is 70% corn, 22% rye, and 8% barley. It's distilled in Tennessee. It lists the warehouse number 9. The char is number 4. And I really enjoyed it. This, again, was an early bottle pickup for me. That's why, this might have been like my 4th bottle that I had picked up at the time. So I've been into it a few times, and I've shared it a few times too with people. So let's get into this Heaven's Door. See, when they put their little logos on there, I always have to make sure that it faces the right way. I may or may not be a little OCD. Anyway, so I got this, I think it's been a while, but I want to say right around $60 for the MSRP on this. I did some looking, and I couldn't find this specific Gallenstein selection. So I'm kind of just going off memory, and honestly, that can kind of be a scary thing because my memory's not so great sometimes. That's why I'm always, looking at my notes that I take on my iPad. So let's get into this nose. iPad almost fell. So there's definitely a corn presence to this. Some of the research that I did also, there's been a lot of praise for this selection. That even though it's a high proof bourbon at 123, it's not overwhelming. Like, I'm not being blown away by an ethanol smell at something for, 123 proof. The nose is very, what I'll say is gentle. But I kind of get like a creme brulee off of this. Definitely some baking spices as this is opening up a little bit more. There's some notes of oak. And like I said, kind of like, you pick up like a rye when you're nosing a rye. This one I'm really picking up the corn, and that's probably because of the rye's. I mean, the rye's 22%, but the corn's pretty high at 70. But I've smelled other ones that had a higher mash bill on corn. But anyway, so yeah, kind of like a creme brulee. The baking spices are opening up now. A little bit of oak. That's about it for now. Let's get a sip. I remember why I hit this one kind of hard when I first got a hold of it. That would be because I get a dark chocolate right away on the palate. There's the oak to it. Oh. Some rye spices there. It's creeping in. And I feel like there's a little bit of caramel trying to come through. But right away for me, it's this dark chocolate on the palate. It's got some good fingers on it. They are taking a little bit of time to run down the side of the glass. I wouldn't say that this is one of a heavy viscous, but it's certainly not runny. I mean, it's taken a little bit of time for it to come down, and the finish on this is surprisingly smooth for 123.1. The baking spice kind of stays with you on the palate. Yeah, I'm not picking up, as far as the finish goes, besides the baking spice. I mean, there might be a little peppery finish to it as well. But I think one of the more unique things in the finish for me is the fact that it's a little dry. Again, this isn't watery. It's not super viscous either at the same time. But your mouth doesn't really get coated with it, and the flavors that you get on the palate, or the finish, don't hang out very long in your mouth. I'd call it a shorter finish, so to speak, but overall, I would probably rate this a solid. I'd probably rate this a solid 8.9. I mean, It's unique to a certain degree. To me anyway, just with like that drier finish to it. I mean, it's not, even though I said I got dark chocolates and everything, it's not overly sweet. So don't let that throw you. Um, I'm not sure I would pour this over rocks. I typically drink my bourbon and whiskey neat. But I think it's a pretty well balanced. I don't know if I go as far as to call it complex profile, but there's a little bit going on there. You know, depending on what you personally pick up. You know, I can only review what I pick up. So there you have it. The Heaven's Door Cask Strength Straight Bourbon Whiskey Gallenstein Selection number 5. Again, don't forget, get your hang light gummies. There's a referral code up in my bio, along with the code KIM10 to save you 10%. I would appreciate your support on that. And with that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And as always, please drink responsibly. I'll see you in the next one.